Moo and good evening. Welcome to the Pink Tron. I am here tonight with John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
I've got a cup of tea right now, but I also pulled out of the fridge one of the Olipop banana cream sodas, which I'm either going to be horrified by or it'll be delicious. We'll find out.
Nice. I also have with me today Sean Fogenberg. Sean, what are you drinking?
I will be racing race two, so I grabbed a cucumber soda.
Oh,
Nice.
Interesting little brand. Something and nothing brand. I was at the store and I saw a canned boba tea and I almost grabbed that, like with the
oh,
tapioca
with the
balls.
bubbles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would have been fascinating.
And finally, tonight for him, we have Steph Etienne. Steph, what are you drinking?
Indeed, tonight, almost midnight, about 30 minutes before midnight. So I'm having a bit of glass wine. Luckily, I'm still a bit awake because last night I decided to binge watch the end of Andor until like midnight. I was planning to do one episode from like 9 to 10 p.m., but I couldn't stop watching it, and at 11 p.m. Well, it's just one episode. Let's do it anyway.
Never works out that way, does it?
Yeah.
No.
So,
but can
What about
confirm
you,
what
Craig?
Steve said. Good show.
So, yeah, I'm Craig Martin. I had a Moosehead Lager and then I drank it all. I will sneak out briefly and grab another one, or probably a grapefruit radler, actually.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what we've got now. As far as yeah, hanging on to the end and in for more than you planned for, the LaGuardia After Party is our route for HSRL this week, and I did the broadcast of race one. Watched Chris Greenland, sometimes of this district, do get the win with a great performance on the climb. And yeah, that is a lot.
It's a
That course
lot.
is a lot in this format. So LaGuardia After Party is 7 laps around the south end of Central Park, I think. Anyway, the end with the
Yeah.
KOM, and then up the reverse KOM. So that's the short one with this going through the second start line, and then finish at the KOM banner. So it's a simple one, but it's under 3K in between the sprints, and then even less between the last sprint and the KOM. So fast and furious.
And a weird sprint. Like it's a short section, what, 150 meters technically, but you've got that significant hill before you get to it, so it grinds off all your speed. So you're
And
really sprinting more like 300 or 400 meters,
well, yeah, so you definitely need to sprint before the segment start to get your speed up. Yeah.
or to
Um,
keep any speed. Yeah.
well, to get like really, definitely watching the C's, B's, and D's. We weren't really watching. I wasn't really watching the A's at all. Um,
Mm.
all of them were not hitting the climb up to the sprint hard at all. And I mean, that's what I'd expect. You're going through it 7 times. There's no
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
to hit it hard, um, because you're not really trying to bust up the group. You're trying to get times on that sprint over and over again. And that was the nice thing. It looked like most people in the race kind of figured out the format. So, yeah, no, it looked like a good race. And
Yeah, it should be a nasty course, having like 7 sprints, 3 kilometer each apart, and then after that finals sprint, you have a bit of a rest, and then you have a like a well with the lead with the unsegmented time, pretty big, semi big climb at the end. So it's going to be a tough one. Proper interval sessions doesn't work out.
yeah, actually, I don't think there's, no, yeah, there's almost no rest. Like, I don't think there's a kilometer from the last sprint to where you start climbing.
Yeah,
It's immediate.
Yeah.
Uh,
The segment's halfway up, but
yeah. So did the ramp up happen? Like, did the power go on for most of the people at the base, or did they wait until the segment?
it definitely sped up a bit.
Yeah, but I
It-
mean, was it like, okay, we're gonna sit at threshold until we have to,
yeah, it was.
punch it?
Yeah, it was more that. It was more, yeah, trying to soften each other a little bit and then see what happens. It was hard though, especially it looked like it was, going reasonably hard, especially coming straight out of that last sprint.
Yeah.
I
Um,
was in no man land with Stuart Evans, and we just soft pedaled it because we were 10
yeah,
seconds in front of the person behind us. So we're like, we're just gonna save it because it's basically we're racing each other and maybe a little bit on the section.
I
For
popped
another
back to
point
check
or
in on
whatever.
you guys right when you were riding with Mark and Peggy.
Oh yeah, they came through on
Yeah,
lap X.
yeah,
I don't remember 3, 4, something like that.
yeah.
That was a challenge. Yeah, it's fun, but a
No,
challenge.
it had to have been after that because they didn't catch Chris's group until the
the
climb.
climb.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was probably later than that.
uh,
Yeah.
it might have been. Yeah, it might have been second to last one. I actually got a 6th place on that.
Yeah.
I feel like it was earlier, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Stewart, though, I thought was going way too early
On the
On the
sprints.
on the
sprints,
sprints. Yeah.
he got second in the first and seconds.
He did, but I think he was using way too much effort.
Yeah.
I think that's why he finished with you and not with Chris.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got gapped on whenever that group caught us. We had just been gapped by the C's and the
Yeah.
front C's, and so I was naively hopeful they would drag me up to the front and back
Oh,
with that group
those,
again, but it
yeah.
was too far. The bees,
Yeah.
yeah, it was too far to go, and the bees were not really motivated until we got to the sprint again, anyway. So,
Well, that's what I was saying. Because Chris jumped on. I was chatting with him. He was on Discord with
mm,
me during the race.
nice.
He talked about lap traffic. I said, I think everybody's just going the same speed because
Yeah.
they hadn't caught the D's yet, and the B's hadn't caught them yet when they hit the climb.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was just that little differential in the sprint that
Yeah.
wasn't making up at any time. Yeah.
Well, and then the B's kicked it a couple times to make things more interesting as they do.
Mm, hmm.
Man, yeah, that's a route and a half.
Yeah,
Okay.
finishing with the 5 minute climb after all that sprints is going to be tough.
Yeah, well, I think is it 5? Yeah, maybe.
Ish, if from the bottom,
From the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 3-ish for the segment itself.
Yeah, so Chris was 304, but none of the other C's were under 320. But
And
I
it looks
think
like low threes was the fastest in all of the, oh, well, there was one 253 in the A's, but
Yeah.
303, 309, 304.
Yeah,
And
Chris was
then for
faster
the,
than any of the Bs up the KOM.
you know, the D's were mid fours up to mid fives.
Yep.
So,
About what you expect.
yeah.
So, yep. No, that's actually a pretty good race course. I wasn't sure.
I mean, better than the joke course that Steve posted
Oh
on the
God.
post of 10 laps of Oh Hill No.
Yep.
Mhm.
Although
I was
really that's only like what, 3 Alps?
Yeah, it was I think it came to 80K and 3,000 meters of climbing,
Yeah.
which I
If
mean,
you do 25 minutes or 30 minutes on average per climb, times them, you
Actually, that's really close to up and down Ventoux twice,
yeah,
just with shorter intervals.
yep. I mean, if it happened, I would probably do it.
I don't know if I'd
Ha!
do it. I don't know if I'd race it for sure. Yeah.
No, this would be another one of those Memorial Fondo situations. I don't know if I'd do a beer at the end of every lap, but
But maybe
Oof.
you would.
no.
You'd
Yeah.
need some form of carbohydrate by the middle of the race.
Good stuff. Okay, so that's Herd Summer Racing League. John, you did pretty well though.
I was happy with my placement. Yeah, I jumped over three people on points.
Yep.
And I don't consider myself a very strong sprinter. But I got a couple of sixes and a seven and a couple of eights. I got fifth on the climb, which felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really
Actually, that's really
happy.
good.
Yeah, I was really happy.
Awesome.
And big group, big C group. What were there?
Yeah.
18
Unfortunately, it
on
looks like
disc
not
on
that many of them were on
yeah.
Zwift Power.
I think what was it, 31, 32 were in the race. I don't remember now.
Yeah. So I mean, one of them was me for the watching, but there was
Ah,
only
yeah, yeah.
but there's only 18 on Zwift Power, unfortunately.
hmm hmm
So, yep.
Chapeau to Chris. He stomped it.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have Herd Beginner Racing. Hopefully we get some good numbers this week. It is Innsbruckring, so that's always a fun one. So you've got, the leg snapper, relatively short but steep climb right smack in the middle of the lap. And so category E, the sub 150 is doing a single lap. And was it every other category is doing two? Do I have it right?
yeah, yeah. The other categories up to 425 to 2 laps each. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't do this anymore. My ZRS went up too much. So I'm sitting, I don't know, somewhere just shy of 450, I think.
You can't frustrate the people in the APAN with riding against the BMX rider anymore.
That was fun. And that ties into what we're going to talk about at the end or around the horn, I think. But yeah, yeah, that was fun. Um, in many ways. So then we still have the Climbers Gambit challenge for this month on
Yeah.
Bologna. So Yeah.
still, indeed, still going. Numbers pretty low, but see if you, as I said in my posts, I'm a bad race organizer because I haven't found the time for it myself. Maybe I should have put in a time slot that works for me. But hey,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Um,
only slots that work are the Sunday ones at 8 and 4 p.m. But mostly I do my auto racing, and the other one is Monday at 8 p.m. my time. I'm not the biggest fan of riding that late, but well, gotta find it. But we'll find the time to get my time in. I think there are like 8 or 9 on the board currently. As I said, still Bologna, TTT, just just your time on the segment count. So from the banner after bands until the top. So with climber gambit style, you can park whatever. If you want to park, it's 3 hours in the pan and then race. Be my guest because I'm not really updated since it's a monthly schedule. I'm not updating it
yeah.
within within an hour after each race ends. So, anyways,
Yeah. So I guess tying into that in the news, there's an article about a Bologna TT test, TT bikes and road bikes again after the recent performance changes. So yeah, it's interesting. Um, Still trying to
So
figure out his. I'm still trying to figure out his results because the article is very confusing.
yeah.
yeah, I think he did the standards. Eric, the rider, I know it's even a bigger rider. It's 75 kilos normally, the 300 watts, but no, that's not.
So it looks like the reason that he's looked at this was that the Zwifter Bikes web app for somebody was showing that the road bikes were 40 seconds faster than the TT bikes. But
Mm.
then you put in your own, you know, I just put in my information and it's showing TT bikes as the fastest. Um, and it looks like that is the case for a lot of people um, that so TT bikes are saying 18 minutes and road bikes it's saying 7 seconds slower, um, which I think I'm right around that cutoff where being faster on the climb is going to make a significant difference.
Yeah.
So this Zwifter bikes make sense for me. Um, but I mean, even on the test, which it looks like it wasn't a very well done test, um, it just got a rider out there and uh, rode at a few different watts per kilo setups, and you ended up that the road bike is faster if you are not as strong of a rider, which is what you'd expect, right? That
Yeah.
watts per kilo, the faster that you're going, the more aero matters. The slower you're going, the more watts per kilo matters um, for this for this climb or for this course. And for this, it looked like somewhere around 3.2 watts a kilo for that 20-ish minutes is probably where that cutoff is.
But it does look like heavier riders, it's going to tend towards the TT bike
Yeah.
because he had the 90 kilogram rider at 2.8 watts per kilogram steady, and that was only the road bike was 2 seconds faster, but there
Yeah.
we're looking at 22 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
That's well within the time where you would expect the other way, I think. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, no, it doesn't say. I don't know. You know what? He might have done the testing fine. The article is not great. I haven't watched.
Fair.
I haven't watched his video yet. His video might be better. So
Fair.
yeah. But I mean that I think.
Yeah, for me,
Sorry, go ahead, Steph.
I was about to say for me, but I said it's in one of the previous episodes that the wattage I did was around three watts per kilo for me. Zwitter bike says, well, it's still marginal. The road bike, my level 3 specialized S work tarmac as a late is about 8 seconds faster than a TT bike like felt AI with zip 454s as the best wheel. So yeah, but yeah, that's over a 22 minute effort. So it calculates it for me as 20 minutes as fastest time, and I did it like in 22. So it's even, who knows?
Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about upgrade stuff as well, and I will say that if you are close, like if you are at a point where you feel like it could go either way and you have a fully upgraded road bike
Mm-hmm.
and no upgraded TT bike, that might shift things one way versus the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I guess when I look, um, it's really, really close. It's TT bikes, and then whether the 454 or the 78 is faster. It's basically a wash on Zwifter bikes with my data put in. So yeah, I guess that was always a route that we didn't really use the disc wheels much, wasn't it? Even in the old performance. So you had to be pretty fast for that to be worth it. Okay, so moving on in the news, we have yeah, I think the big one, Tacx announced Zwift virtual shifting support for Neo 2, 2T, and 3M. I'm not that familiar with the various versions of Neo, so if somebody runs Tacx trainers, they can chime in.
I do not.
No.
No, but yeah, it's nice to see that's more types of bikes are getting ready for virtual shifting because we had a bit of a, well, I wouldn't say discussion in our Ping Tron chat, but yeah, I've both the Swift Ride play controller types as the Swift Click, which I use for RuVS for Swift for virtual shifting, and yeah, because I also have electronic shifting SRM E-Tap on my road bike. It's pretty similar, so yeah, it's smooth. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, I still would love to try it, but I'm still on the older kicker V5 or whichever
Yeah.
one they will never bring this to, even though it shouldn't be that difficult.
Um. Anyway, I can see they might have just run out of something that just isn't there, memory or whatever. But in any case, I'm not that worried about it. I also have a Kicker V5, but I also have a Kicker Core here, and so I've used both. To me, the race mode. So I have the direct connect. The direct connect in race mode is worth more than the virtual shifting to me. So
Yeah.
that's where I land on it.
What do you have to do? So for the direct connect, does it have to connect to your router or does it connect to the computer?
You can do either. So you can connect an Ethernet cable to your router, or you can connect an Ethernet cable to the back of your computer. Um, so mine's connected to the back of my computer, and it was pretty seamless to set up. So,
Interesting.
yep. But it's yet another dongle
Yeah.
you need. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's a bit of
Uh,
annoyance.
yeah. Yeah, I've had it set up via my dongle as well for via Bluetooth dongle, and sometimes it works fine, sometimes it doesn't really work. Although the distance isn't that much, so only a couple of meters. But yeah, I prefer to use the companion app bridge, but sometimes companion doesn't work, it doesn't connect with whatever with Swift. Then and for Ruby with as well with Click, I use my tablet and it pairs with because the tablet is just above, just besides the Swift Click, so the Bluetooth connection is instant or doesn't have any issues. So yeah,
For the direct connect, I think if you don't have, a desktop or a laptop, you would have to plug it into your router or into your network in some way, I guess. For the V5, the V6 will do it over Wi-Fi, I think. So, and the Tacx. So that was the other piece. Sorry, got a little. I was going somewhere related to our news with the race mode because the Neos now have race mode and that could be toggled on via their app or something. So more trainers have race mode. So yay, fun.
But it's not the default, I guess.
It appears
Not
to not
everybody
be,
needs
which
it.
is, yeah. But I don't think it is in Zwift either with the Wahoo trainers. So yeah, yeah. I think it's really good. If your trainer does it, I highly recommend it. But that's, yeah. Next thing in the news that I think is gonna segue into our around the horn. Um, WRL TTTs starting July 3rd, and the fall ZRL will have bike upgrades enabled. Bike upgrades have been neutralized for up to this point, I believe. So this is yeah. So that's where we are. Yeah. It's a pretty big difference on some of the bikes, and we'll just see, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess first off, how do you guys feel about the fact that there's now, I guess this is kind of like Tron versus all of the other bikes where you had to have ridden a lot to get
Yep.
the bike that was better than everybody else's.
Yeah.
Uh, but that one, you could tell that their bike was better.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It was easy to see on screen. Like, oh, those are the people that have put in the climbing and they've got the shiny bike. Here, you don't know if their their road bike or their TT or whatever it is upgraded at all or fully upgraded. Um, and the last two upgrades really aren't performance related, are they? I'm totally forgetting what the last two were because I haven't upgraded anything beyond three.
Yeah, so for the entry level bikes, the last two upgrades are extra drops and extra XP. Um,
Okay.
for the mid range, I think there's four performance and one drops, if I remember right. And the high end, it's five performance upgrades as they go.
Oh, okay.
All of the all of the Halo bikes, including the Tron, are five. This performance, the performance increase is spread out across the five levels. Um, yeah, so I think all the road bikes, well, all the normal road bikes, not climbing road bikes, it's Aero,
Wait,
Aero
I think is usually the second one.
weight drivetrain or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I've seen. Arrow weight and
Aero weight
drivetrain.
drivetrain, Aero weight, I think is the way it goes. Um, anyway, I guess what I did, well, first I upgraded my BMX because I wanted to ride it.
Hmm.
And it's an entry level bike, so it upgrades relatively fast. Then I upgraded the Zwift Steel. I also liked riding the Zwift Steel because I'm a retro grouch. And
And
anyway,
I like the thought of what those upgrades are in real terms. Like you drilled out all of the parts and you got a ceramic speed like you got the like ultra
Yeah.
size jockey wheels for your
Right.
steel bike.
you've seen this bike on the wall, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
BMX bikes are very simple until they're not.
Yeah,
So,
the weight upgrade is taking the pannier rack off the back.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, so yeah, I did those. I think I rode the Zwift TT around at almost no power while I was watching hockey for a week and got that upgrade.
Oh,
And
so you're are you at the point where you can start upgrading your Tron?
I've already upgraded one level on my Tron.
All right.
Wow. You've been riding.
I
Okay.
have been riding a lot, yeah. So yeah, that's been my strategy is, in when we did the bike recommendations here every week, it almost always turns into, and for a lot of people, it's going to be your most aero bike with disc wheels, and with the performance flop, that's now the Tron. So to me, that made sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the way I went as far as my min max. And Yeah, so that's where I went.
Meanwhile, I have just been riding the SL8,
So you're
uh,
well,
and
actually you haven't been riding a lot, have you?
I'm not riding a ton, but I'm at I think I've done the fourth upgrade.
Okay, yep.
Uh, and if I can't remember if the fifth one actually is an XP upgrade.
No, the fifth one is a performance on the
Okay.
yeah.
So it's almost as fast as it will get.
Yep.
But I have noticed actually, so uh, just riding that bike around, and I don't know how much is that bike relative to, say, the Tron
Hmm.
uh, previously, like before they changed how the
Yep.
Tron rides,
Mm.
and before they changed just kind of how the CDAs of everything
Yep.
um, are. But I have noticed that, so I do a lot of my riding with pace bots,
Yep.
and uh, now with a almost fully upgraded SL8, I have to ride one pace bot harder to get the same
Yep.
workout
Yep.
that I
Wow.
was before. So riding with Coco used to be about 200 to 210 watts for me, and now it's about 185 to 190.
Hmm.
So it's about 10 watts, 10, 15 watts. Um, so it's not, and Maria used to be about 180. So it's not quite all the way down one, but it's a it's a significant
A step.
change
Yeah.
in terms of like how hard do I have to ride to keep a pace.
Yep.
I don't hate that, but a lot of the time, what I'm trying to get out of that is, you know, a slightly harder endurance ride,
Yeah.
and I might actually need to start riding one of the like Zwift Steel or something to actually get
BMX.
the right
Do
level
it
of
right.
like how hard it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think I got the BMX bike, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. That was a prize, wasn't it? I don't know that I got it
Yep.
either. Yeah.
I went nuts that last week.
Yeah, Craig, how many spins were you doing
I
per
don't
hour?
know. Actually, so it was this year. It was harder to get the same number of spins as you could last year. But yeah, I was doing a lot of spins per day that last week when I hadn't gotten it yet.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I think I got lucky, and I think I got the BMX bike on my seventh spin or something like that.
Yeah.
Six of them were really late joins, so joining in 30 minutes after it and just doing like max 4 kilometers or something like that.
I'd have to go
so
back and look, but I think it was somewhere around 20 to 25.
Oof.
so going back to the performance of these, like an upgraded bike, uh, on the flats, and this is approximate because I couldn't find the specifics, but the approximate level. So on the flats, a TT bike that is fully upgraded is going to be about 50 seconds faster over an hour.
Yep.
And a climbing bike that is fully upgraded is going to be a full minute faster on a climb over an hour.
Yep.
Um, and the all arounders are going to be 30 to 40 seconds faster, both on flats and climbs,
Mm.
uh, which those are some pretty significant differences. And if they are now going to be allowing these differences in WTRL TTTs and in ZRL, one of the things that was brought up was, okay, so now we have to balance our teams based on who has fully upgraded equipment. right?
Well, are you balancing your team or you're balancing your pole
Yeah.
durations, etc.? Yeah, so there's something there for sure, but
But I mean, definitely. So I have a spreadsheet that I've built that gives me a pretty accurate pull sheet.
yep,
Uh, that is assuming that everyone can just is riding a similar level of bike. Uh, Being able to just say, well, it's actually a few watts easier for me, like 10 watts easier for me, is actually that's not insignificant in terms of how hard a given rider can ride in a TTT in particular.
But do those numbers work out, Sean? I mean, I trust you that you've done the numbers, but if it's 60 seconds on a 1 hour, that's like 1%, 2%, right? Or
But
less.
the faster you're going, every percent of time is going to take a bigger percent of power
yep,
to get.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's all CDA based at higher
yep.
Yep.
velocity.
The
Yeah, yeah.
the
It's
power that
squared.
it takes to increase it goes up with the square of power.
Square
Yeah.
of the power. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the just looking at the Tempest, so using Zwifter bikes, it looks like the Tron level 5 is something like 25 seconds faster than the Tron level 0
On one lap of Tempest Fugit,
on 2 laps.
2 laps. Okay.
Yeah.
So about an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, 56 something for with the me numbers I've put in. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's
It's not nothing.
not nothing.
And I think it's so even the levels the first upgrade is 8 seconds on an hour.
Interesting.
Yeah. So again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but yeah, if you're
In a race context, it's a lot. It still puzzles me. I mean, it's like we said at the like Sean, you
yeah,
said at the beginning, it's about the Tron being lighter and everybody would ride that in a group ride, and then you'd be like, well, okay, they're putting out less work than people not riding the Tron.
yeah.
But it does sort of make me wonder, like if you're just doing group rides or you're doing your own workout, like what is your real incentive here other than chasing uh chasing the thing you can get if you do more of it, you
Yeah.
know?
No, really it's not. I think
Yeah.
for somebody who never races, there's not a lot in it.
Right.
For somebody who does a lot of group rides and does the odd race, yeah, as they upgrade that bike they're going to use when they race, they're going to be better when they race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm almost halfway through the stage 2 upgrade. Yeah, maybe a third of the way through.
On the Zwift bike itself, on the
On
concept
the
bike.
on the
Yeah, so
Tron. Yeah.
we've heard Craig's upgrade path. What are you guys thinking you're doing? Or do you have any thoughts on how you're going to upgrade things?
Yeah,
I'm just
went
riding bikes.
Yeah.
same. I think I chose because flavor of the month, the tarmac SL8. I've been riding that mostly, so I'm thinking somewhere between level 3 and 4. But yeah, because it's
Nope, I think we lost Steph.
the hottest new bike. But yeah, we don't was it Mineral Dogma, then was it then was it the Tron. So yeah, it switches every few months. So
Yeah,
and
I'm
I haven't been riding that much because yeah, it's getting summer season, so I'm spending more time outdoors and also anyway. So not now it's like projections above around 30 degrees, so less fun to ride in. But
based
yeah,
on based on Craig's min-maxing, I think that I am inspired to, for now, just ride Specialized.
Oh,
Right? So they've got
yeah.
the SL8, they've got the Athos for climbing,
Yep.
and then upgrade a TT bike, and then I can get a fancy Halo bike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, is there a
the rollerblade bike, or I think it isn't that a special one with a like the
Is that the
rollerblade
specialized
thing?
one? I
yeah.
think it might be the Project 78 or whatever it was called.
No, that was Cannondale, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
That could be.
I think it was just it's the funky colored one, isn't it? That looks like a TT bike but isn't.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think
Now
it's
I
got
need
a
to
lot
look
of
up the Halo
flaring
bikes.
I'm looking at
material.
it right now.
Yeah, doing the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Project 74.
it's the funky one, I think.
Yep.
Pinarello Especial. Yeah, it's the funky. Yeah, the Cannondale is a rollerblades, weird
Yeah.
TT bike thing.
No, you're right. Project 74. So that's the one, yeah, with the full fairing in between the wheels. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a reference that it came out in 1974 from that little apostrophe, I would think.
No, I think
No, it
two.
says in looking at the
Oh,
article, Specialized was founded in 1974. So
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I still got to say that the Canyon, the rollerblade is the most goofy one, but
Absolutely.
Mm. Geometric trail just makes my head hurt how that works, if it doesn't work at all.
um,
how can four rollerblades at the front compete with like a fully disc wheel at the back?
yeah.
How do
So,
they steer?
Probably no
Sean,
front brakes on that.
yeah.
No, no, good point. No front brakes. Yeah.
So, Sean, is it this? Do you have the specialized LA? I don't think you can get it anymore. I think it's been removed from the drop shop, but I think it's an entry level. So, I think it would be faster than upgrading a
And the
specialized TT.
Athos.
No, no. Well, so you want to do the Athos just because it's the best climbing bike.
Yeah, but then the TT, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, instead of the
As the
TT.
third bike. Let
Uh,
me I might. Let me check real quick.
yeah. No, because say there. I think that was the only specialized entry level bike, unless this Ruby was. I can't remember, but yeah, yeah. If you can find an entry level bike,
Right.
it's a lot less distance to upgrade.
Yeah, because upgrading this SL8's taken a while. But
Well,
that's
yeah,
Yeah,
the high end, right?
it's one of the high ends, yeah. And so is the Athos. So I mean, it's a
Right.
climb bike, but it's a high end because it is the best one in the game.
Yep.
Yes, and after you upgrade it, the Athos becomes better at climbing than the SL8 again.
yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So anyway, I guess that's upgrades. What we're doing. Um, do we like it? Do we not like it? Um,
I mean, I like having cool stuff to chase.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's. I think Zwift would say it's successful because people are riding.
And it
And
also gives you something to use your drops on, which for a long time, for any long time riders at least,
yeah,
you
have
you,
lots of
you
drops.
bought your fast climbing bike, your fast time trial bike, and whatnot, and then you didn't buy anything for a long time, so the drops just really weren't something that you could use. But
Yeah, yeah.
so I think that's that's a good thing because otherwise, well, you can watch the number go up, which is always gratifying.
Number goes up.
But
Goes up.
yep.
But yeah, because I know, there's people that are really upset about it with the descenders, as people have been calling them, who are teleporting to the top and going down. Um, so Zwift have come down pretty hard on people that were playing games beyond that in, making their way to a ton.
The bots.
Well, the bots a bit, yeah, but even the people that were manipulating weight, either making it really, really low to climb to upgrade the climbing bikes, or really, really high and teleporting so they descend, twice the speed of normal humans on bikes. They were also reducing their height to 60 or 70 centimeters, I think, whatever the minimum was.
It was always fun to see one of the Chinese bots doing like having like 250 kilometers or whatever high number, and still doing like 5 watts per kilo constantly.
Yeah, unwavering. It's just erg mode. Anyway. Yeah, so I think Zwift are happy to have people riding and, kind of little bit of damn the torpedoes. I think it makes their numbers go up and look good, which is what they want. So I think there's some of that there for sure. But I think, a bunch of it's going to come out in the wash. Yeah, the guys who got the Halo bikes in the first 3 weeks, sure. But ZRL, we're talking another 2.5 months or 3 months before that, I think. So, most people are going to have, if they're riding over the summer at all, and if they're not, then, whatever. Upgrade your bikes when you come back in the fall. And
Yeah, I think
I think at that point it's reasonable that a pretty high percentage of people that are regular Zwifters are going to have some upgraded bikes if they don't have the top level Halo, and most people won't, but some legitimate riders will. So I think at that point everything kind of makes sense to include.
I hadn't thought of that. So ZRL is allowing upgrades in the fall
Yep.
in race.
Yep.
Are they allowing the Halo bikes too?
That
They
I'm not
must.
sure. I'm not sure that there's a separate exclusion
Yeah,
for them.
I would assume that they are letting them, but they're
right.
going to be
They're
terrible
just
to race on.
they're
I
just
was about to
bikes,
say,
right?
are these Halo
Oh,
bikes any competitive anyways? Because
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
They're just
outside of
fun
the
looking. They're
out of the
not actually performing.
they're
yeah,
pretty
outside
good
of the
actually, but yeah.
yeah,
They're
outside of
fast
the
on the flats, but
Yes.
they're
Okay.
not faster than the Tron on the flats.
No, yeah.
yeah,
So
but yeah, I was
it
about to say a Tron is technically one of the Halo bikes, so that's the
is.
only ones that is considered competitive, or in the
Yeah.
speak of of bike setups. Yeah, but I think it's the I think WTRL are both behind the TTT, the Thursday TTTs and ZRL are. Yeah, it's enough time. It's almost half a year or whatever since they introduced it. So, like you said, most people have started or are completing their upgrades in their own pace, but I think it's fairly reasonable to start including the upgraded bikes in these kind of bigger team events. I think technically in was about to say in ladder racing there was never, I think, a restriction
Yeah. Anyway, that's that with the upgrades. Yeah, it's interesting. It's something else to talk about. Um, I don't.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, just the old saying, right? Don't buy upgrades, ride upgrades.
Yes.
Like,
Get upgrades by writing upgrades. Yeah.
yep.
So yeah, I like really um this if somebody gets these upgrades legitimately, they're going to in most cases improve more from their fitness than they did
Yeah,
from the upgrade. So yeah. Because they, in the article about that Eric Schlange did about the TTT and ZRL, including it, for most, yeah, we're talking 5 watts, 6 watts, 3 watt. Like it's only a few watts of savings at for most people. And that, he's talking about his 75 kilogram, 300-watt rider. It's going to be a little bit more if you're bigger, but in that kind of range. So yeah, it's some in the 1 to 2% range, but it's not a complete game changer that you can't compete if you don't have the max upgrade. So
Yep.
Well, and Zwift, yeah, they would be foolish to do that. That would sort of nerf it'd make people really quite angry because I
And
think
Zwift has
now
never done anything
never
foolish.
done anything
no,
to make
no,
people angry. No.
no.
I mean, it does give you that little hit, right? You're like, oh, I can upgrade, when I finish this ride, I'll get off and I'll do this fun thing and interact with the game a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It gives me yeah, another thing to chase, another fun thing to do and more time on Zwift, which yeah, they keeps more people around you riding. I mean, I think Zwift did a nice job with it.
Another number to go up.
Another number
Yeah.
to go up.
Yeah, it's a little complicated. So I'm
Several
just
more
doing
numbers to go
It
up.
is.
yeah, I'm just doing the tarmac SL8 and I'll figure out what's next after that. But yeah.
No, that's fair. Well, I think that brings us to the end. So thank you to Steph Etienne. Thank you, John Keenan. Thank you, Sean Fogenberg. Have a good race. Good luck on LaGuardia after party. Enjoy the party. Moo and good night.